Now, Miss India-Canada diplomatic row over, Khalistan protests. A video of an Indian student, Satyam Surana, picking up a tricolour that was being trampled upon during this particular protest in London outside the UK embassy has gone viral. Well, the protest was being held outside the Indian High Commission, and when Satyam, a Pune boy who's studying at the London School of Economics, saw a policeman stepping on the Indian flag on the ground, he answered, and he said that this is my call to conscience. He picked up the flag. He said, I picked it up, I kissed it, folded it, and I moved on with my head held high. And joining us now exclusively on NDTV, Satyam Surana. He's live with us from London. Thanks very much, Satyam, for joining us on the broadcast. Describe to us what happened that day, because of course this video has gone viral on social media. Everybody is appreciating your gesture, but what went through, inside you, and what motivated you to go out there and pick up the Indian tricolour there?
Yeah, so thanks for having me here. And it was a very unusual situation for me because it's been nearly 20 days since I've landed in London for my studies. And being and brought up in the city of Pune in India, I had never seen such an amount of insult and derogatory behavior with the national symbol, the national identity, our tricolor, anywhere, any time in my life. So yes, it was a shock to me. It was a disheartening moment for me when I saw my flag being demeaned, being insulted, and being desecrated in such a derogatory way. So that was just an instant, innocent, and an intrinsic action, which how I term it as on my side, to just go and pick up my flag and just to save it from any further harm that could have been caused.
That's very well answered, Satyam, because you say that it was an instinctive move for you. It wasn't something that you thought about a lot. It was just it was how you responded in that particular moment. Let me ask you, generally, the perception is that a lot of Indian students studying abroad don't really feel any sense of patriotism, for the lack of a better word, or any sense of nationalism there. But, you are busting that myth in this particular video, because you very much feel that sense of attachment, that sense of, patriotism or nationalism in your own way.
See, I think that each and every person has that sense of nationalism, patriotism, and a sense of belongingness towards his motherland, come what may. There is no person on this planet who might not have a connection to his motherland. Ultimately, there are other reasons as well which might provoke a person to keep the feelings in a particular place or not be too much vocal or expressive of his or her feelings. I think at times there are instances which might just push you to to take upon such an action that might go viral, like that happened in this video. It was never a planned thing that had happened. It just went viral, and that was the power of social media. But yeah,
Absolutely.
the sense of nationality, the nationalism that has each one of us has it, but everybody has their own reasons and perspectives to be either vocal or not vocal about it in
That's very
today's
well said,
situation.
Satyam. All of us have our own, sense of nationalism. All of us have our own understanding of nationalism. There's no one kind of nationalism, as you said, and all of us choose to be vocal or not vocal, but we have it within us, is what you said. That's very well answered. But how do you look at these, Khalistani protests? Because this is something that is in the news, particularly in the past couple of weeks, with all the events in Canada and also in the UK. I mean, I have reported from London when these protests actually broke out outside the UK embassy, and it's very disheartening. And I'm sure it has been disheartening for you also as an Indian and as a patriot.
See, it is a matter of very of heavy grief for each and every Indian who witnesses such kinds of protests and attacks on any places which are displaying the Indian dignity, be it our high commissions, be it the statues of our leaders, of our people which are elsewhere as well. So this might be just a reaction to the global outreach that India is getting in the last couple of years, the global pedestal at which our country is standing today, and in our way, how India is trying to become a superpower, and India is heading to be one of the largest global economies, a decision maker in world politics. These protests, I think, merely are just a way to distract attention from India's global progress and to get down the global media to some very narrow-minded approaches with respect to some allegations on the national security, the ideology of the government,
That's an
or
interesting
be it any
perspective
other
there,
topic.
Satyam, because as you said, for some people, for some fringe elements, perhaps India's growth on a global stage is unacceptable. It's difficult for them to stomach it. That's an interesting perspective you brought in here. But my last question to you, what do you do? I mean, as a student, as somebody who's a right-thinking, outspoken student in a university space, what do we do about it? Do you believe that there should be more deliberation about these things in university spaces abroad by the Indian community? How do you actually voice what you feel?
Exactly, that is a very good question which needs to be answered in the current time. What I did physically with the Indian flag is I saved the dignity of my country, which was disheartening me from inside. This is not just one instance we've come across. There are a multiple instances, other instances wherein we see like people just go out of India and they feel cool in front of other people to go and just speak against India. We have people in our cohort in the international universities, and there is one person in each and every group who might just go and speak against India, be it with knowledge, without knowledge, or just for the sake of becoming cool or being termed as a very nice person because he is just speaking against the current governmental regime in India. So there are people who just speak. So it is not necessary to always undertake such tasks like the one I did, which was like instantly guided to me from my mind.
Right.
But it is upon us to keep an eye on such elements, and intellectually, it is more necessary to answer such elements intellectually rather than physically. Our
So it's
actions
important to
speak louder than
answer
our words.
these answer back as far as these such situations are concerned. And Satyam, let me tell you, you have made patriotism cool again. So thanks so much for speaking to NDTV. Really appreciate what you did there, and it's for everyone to see now. Thanks so much for joining us on NDTV.